In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Now get set again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Hello, my fellow ecclesiastites. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call in tonight is area code toll-free 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. I do wish to thank you for tuning in and listening here on it's what is it? Hump Day, right? Yeah, it is Hump Day. Wednesday. And I know everybody's got the Democratic debate on their minds. Everybody's talking about the. Well, I saw and heard snippets of it today, but obviously, because it came on at 8:30 p.m. and I was still on the air, I did not tune into it because I had more important things to do. I knew it wasn't going to be anything earth-shattering or groundbreaking. And from what I can tell, basically what Hillary got a pass last night. And if I recall correctly, I said that they were going to be kind of light on her. They weren't going to go after her. The Democrats aren't going to go after her. Absolutely not. They have to back each other. I was a little bit surprised about Bernie Sanders saying that, Americans are tired of hearing about your emails. I mean, he came across as, I'm not the only one, and Republicans aren't the only one either that think Bernie just came across and looked like the grumpy old, angry old uncle or grandpa. There are Democrats and liberals out there on social media today just complaining about how angry Bernie is. But Drudge is saying that Bernie, according to, they did a survey, Bernie won the debate. Now, I know the lamestream media is saying that, Hillary won hands down. I've seen, my only thing is, look, the woman has some serious issues, but evidently she did not embarrass herself any further than she's already an embarrassment, but she didn't, it didn't further embarrass herself at the debate last night. So now you have people saying, well, geez, Joe, doesn't look like you got to get in now. She didn't shoot herself in the head. And so, now all of a sudden they're saying, well, Joe, just sit out the sidelines. What's Joe Biden going to do? Wait until the next election? And Joe's getting up there too. This is like, his last chance for it. But I didn't watch it, but I've heard the snippets. I've read the snippets. One of the things that came to me from listening and reading is this stupid notion that these Democrats, I don't know. I guess maybe they were thinking that they were all going to try to out-socialist Bernie, but that's not going to happen. But giving stuff away. Giving stuff, it's like Christmas all over again. Yeah, we need to give this for free and this for free, and the government needs to give this out for free, and nothing is for free. I don't know what is it going to take for us to be able to get that across to people, that there is no such thing as free. You're either paying for it up front, or you on the front end, or you're paying for it on the back end. There is no free. As a matter of fact, when it comes to so-called freebies from the government, they're really expensive, and that's why I say if free is too expensive, we can't afford free. Because it takes a massive amount of tax dollars in order to, it's kind of like, the government's like a bad charity. It's like, let me give you the example. It's like a bad charity. Now, there are good charities out there where more than 90% of the donated dollars goes towards the actual cause of the charity. And then there are those bad charities out there where as little as 5% of the money donated goes to the actual cause. So let me give you an example. Say you're out there. Well, you're out there. I don't know what what is it? Susan Komen for the Cure is. I don't know what their their efficiency rate is. But let's just use cancer as an example. You have an organization, you say, kick cancer's butt in 2015, nonprofit organization. And you give them a dollar. And they have that dollar. They get the dollar from you. And they turn around and give 95 cents of that dollar to a research organization who's trying to find a cure. So they give 90. So that means they have a 95% efficiency rate. So 5%, that 5 cents on that dollar, is going to run the actual operation of kick cancer's butt in 2015, whatever. Now let's say you have charity B. Cancer is really awful and we should do something about it, charity. And you decide you're going to give that charity a dollar. And that charity takes that dollar and they say, and they turn around and give 50 cents of that dollar to areas or research that's going to kick cancer's butt. And they take the other 50 cents that's left over and they use it to run the operation. Now, what does it take to run an operation? Well, you have overhead like any other business, like paying employees of the operation. But you have one charity that's giving 95%. In other words, they have only 5% overhead. And you got this charity over here that has a 50% overhead. Now, who do you think is doing a better job? Who do you think is getting more money into the system of finding a cure? Well, obviously, the one over here that only has 5% overhead and is donating or giving or funding with 95 cents of every dollar into the research. Well, look at it this way. Our government is a giant charity. And every dollar that you give the government, depending on the program, as little as 20 cents on that dollar gets to the people that program is supposed to help. So therefore, 80 cents of every dollar, when it comes to that particular freebie program, is being spent on governmental overhead. Now, so what? There are other things that they have a slightly better rate. I think one of the highest is like 35%. So 35 cents of every dollar goes to what the program is supposed to be helping them for. So why would you? So in other words, if we're going to give money out for a free college tuition, how much do you think it's going to take in order to fund it? Well, the CBO and other people have priced out Bernie Sanders' social utopia at over $18 trillion. Now, do you think we're going to get $18 trillion worth of product and service back once it gets funneled through the government? Oh, no. We'll be lucky to get, $9 trillion of that back. And if you're looking at all the statistics, and government tells us how much they spend and how much goes to this person and that, well, not each individual, but they tell us, how much money that actually went to the people and that for the program. You're looking at less than 50%. So out of 18 trillion, less than 9 trillion is going to come back. Now, that's a beautiful money laundering scheme, don't you think? Under Bernie Sanders' plan, you would spend at least, it would be well over it, but at least $18 trillion, and you're going to get back less than 9 trillion of it. Folks, it's not a zero-sum game, which is the problem with a lot of liberals. They just don't understand how, that's why I say we can't afford free. Because if you need programs and all the need for these programs, if they total out to be $18 trillion, or if they total out to be $20 trillion, at the rate of efficiency that our government is at right now, you're looking at needing to collect or spend in taxation, being collected. And it's going to be spent because, the overhead is going to be spent. So in order to get to that $20 trillion distribution, if you will, at the current rate of our federal government's efficiency, not including the military, you're going to need to spend at least $40 to $50 trillion. Do you understand now why I say we cannot afford free? It costs too damn much. And yet we had all 5 of those Democrats, from what I understand, on stage last night, just giving away the candy store. Handing out candy. Yeah, if I'm president, I'm going to give you this and this and this. Oh, no. You can't outdo me. If I'm president, I'm going to give you this, this, and this. And then a good old curmudgeon Bernie gets up there and says, well, I'm the original socialist, so I'm going to give you everything. And, of course, you have Hillary. I'm the only one with a plan to give away. Because I'm a real person, This whole notion that we can just give the government. I know it's what it didn't Biden. Was it Biden who said, or was it Pelosi? One of the dunderheads of the Democratic Party. Yeah, it's Biden. Said we have to spend money in order to keep from going bankrupt. Right? Now, I don't know about you, but if you do not have enough money coming in, what's the first thing you do? You have to cut back on your spending. Government never cuts back on its spending, it seems. Well, yeah, we got to cut. It's not a cut. Wait a minute. Here's a government's version of cut, and this is going to happen with free stuff, by the way, so just pay attention to this. This is the government's version of a cut. Okay, this year, a particular department cost $100 million. For 2015, $100 million. So now we got a new budget coming out, and they want to have $115 million to fund that organization. So the budget for 2016, and 2016 is not here yet, is $115 trillion. Well, after doing all the budgeting and fighting and all that kind of stuff and figuring out, they realize, we can't spend $115 trillion on this department. We're only going to be able to spend $110 trillion. Now, remember, that's 2016. 2016 is $110 trillion or $110 million. 2015, current, they're spending $100 million on that was budgeted. So, $110 million is $10 million more than $100 million, is it not? Yes, but our government says, oh, no. We just had a $5 million cut because the original budget was $115, but they only got $110. Or where'd the other $5 million go? Oh, it was cut. It wasn't cut, but that's what they tell us. And this is how the Democrats have been getting away by demagoguing Republicans for years. By saying that they cut government spending. They didn't cut government spending. Because government, every year, even with the Republicans, the budget got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just that the Republicans sometimes just reduce the increase from what the Democrats wanted. But there was no cut in government spending. This is what we get year after year after year, and yet we're told, we're cutting this, this amount of spend. It's called zero-base budgeting. Now, you try that with your own finances and see if you don't end up in the bankruptcy courts or in jail for fraud. Think your own personal finances. You run around and say, I make $100,000 a year. So you're going to spend $100,000 a year. But next year you're going to think, I'm going to improve my lifestyle. You're still only making $100,000 a year, but you're deciding you're going to spend $115,000 and some $115,000. But somebody tells you, no, you can't spend $115,000. You're only making $100,000. You're right. I better cut back. I better cut back on my spending. So I'm only going to spend $110,000. And then you run around telling your creditors, look, I had a spending cut. I cut my spending, man. Can't you give me a break and give me some help? And they're going to look at you like you got two heads. Wait a minute. Because they're going to say, wait. 2015, you earned $100,000. So that was your budget. In 2016, you're saying your budget is going to be $110,000, but you're still only earning $100,000. How is that a cut? Well, because I originally budgeted for $115,000 budget, but I cut $5,000 off. So you see, I'm trying here. I'm cutting my budget. They will pick up the phone, that banker, and they will make one of two different phone calls. One could be to the police for fraud, or two to the insane asylum because you need some serious mental help. But that's exactly what our government does on an annual basis. And those people up on that stage we're increasing that tenfold, 100-fold. Because Bernie Sanders, if he was elected, he'd come up and say, oh yeah, this is an $18 trillion program. And the Republicans would say, no, we can't spend that. How about only $15 trillion? Well, Bernie Sanders would run around and saying that the Republicans cut the size of government by $3 trillion. And that's why nothing works. Because we cut it. We cut the government. We didn't cut anything. Republicans didn't cut a damn thing. They still increased spending from $4 trillion to $15 trillion, but it didn't go from $4 trillion to $18 trillion. So in the Democrat sense, the way they try to frame it and make you hate Republicans and hate conservatives, it's, they cut the size of government, and now people are going to starve and not be able to get a college education, and people aren't going to be able to, drive their cars, and they're not going to be able to pay for their gas, they're not going to be able to pay, to heat their houses, they're not going to be able to keep a roof over their head, they're not going to be able to keep look, we got the fattest kids on the planet, and yet we're talking about increasing SNAP. Bernie wants to give more to poor people so they can eat better. Hold on. Where is it here? U.S. has the fattest kids on planet. Washington Examiner report, U.S. most obese country in the world. Fattest kids by a mile. Although it gets tops for poor teen health. Our teenagers are healthy, I guess. The United States is home to the most obese population in the Americas, Asia, and Europe. Well, that means the world. Don't you love how they frame that? In the Americas, in Asia, and Europe. Well, they didn't include Australia, Rod, and they didn't include Antarctica, Rod, and they didn't include Africa in that, Rod. When was the last time you saw a bunch of fat Africans running around? And I know some people are saying, "Well, are you saying blacks can't be fat?" No, Africa. Don't tell me I have to give y'all a geography lesson. Look at Africa. Now, and tell me who all lives on Africa. Who all are, Egyptians are African, right? Yeah, they are. Libyans are African, aren't they? Yeah, I heard, here's this one person. And I said, South Africans are African, because this person, he said he was all white, but he said he was half African. Well, his mother was from South Africa. His dad was an American. His mother was South African, but they're both white. So when he said he was half African, somebody else looked at him and said, "You're lying, man. You're all white." And I interjected by saying, well, what's that got to do with anything? Because he's saying he's African. You do realize that South Africans, whether they be black or white, are Africans, right? Oh. My God, the stupidity of some people because of the lack of education and training in our country makes me want to pull my hair out. So we have this article written here that leaves out Australia. I don't know. Anybody see many fat Australians? No, there aren't many. Well, Antarctica, I guess the penguins are fat, but why would you say? Well, most obese population in the Americas, Asia, and Europe. Are they saying that there are countries in Africa that are fatter than the U.S.? And are they saying that on the Australian continent or the Australian sphere is the Australian hemisphere? They're more fat than the U.S. Well, anyway, we have the fattest kids by a wide margin and is tops in poor health for teenagers. Oh, I thought they said good health. I misread it because it said poor. I was thinking they were talking about poor kids. Poor teenagers are in good health in the USA. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I misread it. So, I better not say so soon because you hear about the aunt that sued her nephew for hugging her. Anyway. So we have the fattest kids by a wide margin and tops in poor health for teenagers, according to the latest measure of well-being from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Who the hell are they? Where do all these different organizations that you never hear about come from? Well, I most of them are part of the UN. I get that, but Well, I guess they can have all these different organizations or groups or development organizations in the UN because, hey, it's all free to them because we the American taxpayer, we're the one paying for all of that. Like I said, we can't afford it free.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
If you want to give me a buzz, I am another night loaded to, I think we got through 1/3 of what I wanted to get through last night. And we're probably going to get there, have the same, loaded to bear today. But here it is in its How's Life 2015 report, which was released yesterday. The United States is also among the nations with underperforming students and, now get this, second in murders and assaults. Well, if you're just counting raw numbers, yeah, that might be true. Well, after all, we are a nation of 330 million people. I think, what is the official, 321 or something, 321 million. And it's over 300 million. So you're going to have some crime, the population base that large. Well, you have the 320 million citizens, Americans, and you have, I don't know, anywhere from 11 to 50 million illegals. So basically, you're looking at a population of 330 to 350, 60 million people. So when you have a population base that large, you're going to have some crime. Yes, I get that. And the crime numbers are going to be rather large. But until you really tear it down and start looking at the crime rate, that's what's important. And you'll find that the United States actually, compared to other nations, has a relatively low crime rate. But that's going to sidetrack me here to talk about that. Remind me to go into that in greater detail one of these days with you. However, but the U.S., this report says, shines when it comes to personal wealth and even the number of rooms in our homes. Now, that's code, folks. That's code for the United States is full of rich people. And they got rich by robbing everybody else on the planet. See, look at all that money that they're making and all that wealth that each individual has. Look how big their homes are. Because they're rich. And that means that they're going to come after the U.S. to pay for more of the world's ills. Because, after all, it's because we're so rich, it's our fault. that the rest of the world is so poor. That's what that is. That's code. Don't doubt me. Do not doubt me on that, folks. That is what that is code lingo for. Now, the report from the World Organization was released every 2 years, and this year it featured a focus on child health and welfare in Europe, the Americas, and much of Asia, including, now look who they including Japan and South Korea. Why don't they include North Korea? Well, obviously in North Korea, you know, the children and teenagers are not going to be obese. They're going to be emaciated, and their poor health is probably going to be off the charts. You can't include that. This is probably why they're not including Africa. You Australians should feel left out, really. Really should feel left out. Why are they not including, you know, what's the population of Africa? You know, 500 million people? Why would you keep them out of the loop? You know, I know somebody's out there right now, and Rush Limbaugh's real into thinking, well, that's a big country. Africa's big. 500 million people. I'm just going to shake my head on that one, folks. And now, see, some of you out there probably laugh because you know I am telling you the truth, that there are people out there who just thought that Africa was probably the world's third largest country by population. Because everybody knows that, you know, India and China have over 1 billion people. So who's next? Well, I think it's the USA, right? I think we're the third, 320 million people. I think we're the third. But you got to have some people out there thinking, "Oh, wow, man, Africa's got that's a big country, 500 million people." But hey, don't laugh too hard. Because those people are applying for government jobs, and some of them are getting them. I didn't mean to make you cry now, but that is the truth. I know some people. If you're a prepper, some people are out there just increasing their stockpile and grabbing their guns. That's probably not funny, but yeah, it is. So the report notes, however, that all nations have room to improve quality of life for its citizens, as long as the United States pay for it because they're rich. Though it doesn't openly criticize the United States. Oh, yes, we are. However, in several graphics and charts, it is clear that the United States doesn't match the world average in several areas besides child health. For example, the U.S. is a nation of workaholics that doesn't take as much time off as the rest of the world. Wait a minute. We have 95 million Americans out of the workforce. Are you telling me we're still a nation of workaholics? How is that possible? No, what the true unemployment. Well, the depicting using the proper numerical formulas. We have 40% unemployment. How are we workaholics? So it doesn't. We don't take as much time off, I guess. So it also is subpar on life expectancy. Adult skills. We're subpar on adult skills. What does that mean? What adult skills? Well, the only thing I can think of is because our 20-somethings and now, who are bleeding into the 30-something realm don't have adult skills because they're too busy playing video games, which is not considered an adult skill. And we also suffer a high rate of deaths due to assault than other nations in the report. No, we don't. Do you know that England and Australia have a higher murder rate than the United States. Now, obviously, the United States has a higher total number because we have a much larger population. But there was just a report that just debunked all this crap that showed the world, the real world crime rates across the globe. England's murder crime rate is double, or their violent crime rate is about double that of the United States. And that goes along with Australia. And oh, wait, those are two countries that have massive gun control. Just thought I'd point that out. But it was finding in obesity, its findings on obesity and child health that jumped out in the important report. Who said this crap is important? Now, in the obesity chapter, the United States is put at number 1 ahead of 33 other nations. 33? Just 33? Despite years of work by the WHO, the Obama administration, read that, Michelle Obama, and the Agriculture Department, which is part of the Obama administration. Let me read to you exactly, verbatim, what this says. Because this is hilarious. Now, who wrote this story, by the way? Paul Bedard, B-E-D-A-R-D, at Secrets Bedard, I guess. Bedard, maybe. How you would pronounce his name. Paul Bedard. Now, here's how he wrote this paragraph, verbatim. In the obesity chapter, the United States is put at number 1, ahead of 33 other nations, despite years of work by the Obama administration, the First Lady, and the Agriculture Department, which has been pulling sugar and salt out of school lunches. So I guess the Agriculture Department is not a part of the Obama administration. And they're putting the First Lady on par with the administration. Just saying. And that and they can't understand why our kids are still fat because we're pulling sugar and salt out of school lunches. You know, the report shows that obesity in America has jumped since 2000 and that 35% of the nation is overweight. For comparison, 4% of Japanese and 25% of Canadians are obese. Well, Canadians need to need to have a layer of fat because it's so damn cold up there. But, yeah. We've had the First Lady in office basically for the past 7 years, and she's had this notion of improving our eating choice. Hell, she doesn't even really let her skinny, waif of a man eat hamburgers. I mean, when the guy goes away without her, the first thing he does is head to a burger joint, it seems. So this whole... I don't know. I guess everybody's supposed to look like Barack, But I'm not picking on her weight. But come on, Michelle Obama is not a skinny mini herself. I know somebody's going to they're going to try to fry me on this one, but let's be honest. Look, if you listen to the show all week, I told you sometimes honesty hurts. Truth hurts sometimes, but the truth is, the woman ain't a skinny mini. Now, I'm not saying she's obese. She's not obese, but she ain't a skinny mini. Now, her husband, on the other hand, the man needs to eat. He needs to eat something. As far as I'm concerned, Looking at pictures of his father, his alleged father, Barack Obama Sr., he wasn't that he wasn't like Obama. And Obama's grandfather on his mother's side was tall. From the pictures that I've seen of him, but he wasn't emaciated like Barack either. Maybe Obama just has. He looks more like Malcolm X. Now, Malcolm X was also a skinny dude. Just saying, folks. Just telling you. I didn't even think of that before, but you want to, body types? Because usually kids will take on the body types of their parents. Well, Barack Sr. doesn't share the same body type as Barack Jr. here. But Barack Jr. shares a similar body type as Malcolm X. Just saying. There are probably conspiracy theorists listening. I have probably spawned a new conspiracy theorist group out there somewhere about this. There are people who are. I was asked about that, and at an event that I spoke at, because every event I go to, everybody always asks, "Well, do you think Obama is an American?" Right? Do you think Obama is an American? Do you really think he is? You think he's naturally born? And I say, yeah, I believe he was born in the USA. And I give them my theory that I cannot prove at this point about that I think that maybe, possibly, Barack Sr. is not is not the Barack baby daddy, but Malcolm X is. Now, the reason why some people don't like that theory is because they're hung up on the theory that he's not a natural-born citizen. And if his dad is actually Malcolm X, well, that just throws that whole theory out the window, which makes him a legitimate president. And there are some people out there, I can admit it, so there's some people out there that just want this guy to be illegitimate. And if Barack Sr. is his daddy, then they can hold on to that illegitimacy claim. But if Malcolm X is his daddy, well, even if he was born in Africa, but Malcolm X is his biological father, he's a natural-born citizen. So that kind of throws. So that's why they don't like that. But just look at the pictures of him. Facially, he looks more like Malcolm than Barack Sr. And now that I just think about it, the body type, he's more like Malcolm than Barack Sr. I'm just saying, I can't prove it. I could be totally wrong, but I'm sure there's probably somebody out there right now trying to build a conspiracy club around that thing. I am not going to be the president of it because I don't have time for conspiracies. I'm not even going to say that. The only reason why I would think that there are two reasons why that Barack would probably want to keep that a secret. One, because it would show that it would be to save him embarrassment, because it would prove his mother to be a hussy, really. And and two, it would confirm what a lot of people believe in Barack. He was indoctrinated to be, and that to be a socialist and a communist, because let's face it, Barack Sr. and Malcolm X, they weren't exactly, democratic capitalists. And, maybe that's also, because it's accused that, Obama's been accused of having a ghost. Did that actually come? I don't know if that actually came out. Because did he not write Dreams of My Father? Or was that ghost-written? I know that there is an accusation that his books were ghost-written and not written by him. But in any case, I don't know. Well, it is what it is. But, the five on the stage last night, all they want to do is continue. They want to up the ante, as it were, to the giveaway. Because, hey, if your ideas can't get you elected, freely, well, hell, why not just buy a vote? If we give people enough, it's kind of like the hook, line, and sinker thing. If we give people some bait, if we give them enough bait, then they'll vote for us, and we'll get to do anything we want. Look at Obama. Obama set the bait out there for his first, election. We're going to fundamentally transform the country. Well, he didn't say that during the campaign, but he put all this wonderful, tasty bait, and people they chomped on that line, and he just reeled them in. I still say that there was, this will probably fit into other people's conspiracy theories as well, dealing with, the chemtrails. But it just seemed like a good portion of the American population was hypnotized. You kind of see this stuff in movies. Remember Indiana Jones? Kalima. And, that was Kalima. And then, of course, you had the Mummy movies. All these people were their minds were taken over. But if you watched Obama's inauguration, his first inauguration speech, and as they pan the crowd, now I'm sure you can find the videos of this on YouTube. Just look at the same look in those people's eyes in that crowd during that inauguration speech is the same thing you see in the movies where the Kalima. It's the same thing. So there are people out there that think, not me, but there are people out there that think, see, it was mass hypnotism and government chemicals being sprayed on us from chemtrails and all that. It kind of makes you wonder, actually, though. It starts to make you think, well, geez, maybe some of these people have something right. Remember the movie with the Aussie actor there, who's not actually Aussie, he was born in New England, Mel Gibson. Conspiracy theory with not Sandra Bullock, the other one, Julia Roberts. Remember that? He had so many conspiracy theories, in that when he was finally right about one, even Mel Gibson's character was kind of surprised. So, I mean, I guess if there's enough conspiracy theories out there, one or two of them are bound to be, factual. Problem is because there's so many nut job conspiracy theories out there, we don't know which ones really are. Maybe that's a conspiracy theory, too. If we have all these if the CIA just pumps out all these conspiracy theories, then we won't know which ones are really true. And I probably shouldn't have said that, because now I probably have some conspiracy theory nut job thinking just had the light bulb just went off in their head. I'm feeding these people too much. I know it. I'm sorry. Well, it's kind of fun, though. But all of these guys up on the stage, well, I'm not politically correct, so I'm not going to say guys and gal. I'm just going to say all the guys up on the stage. And for those of you feminists out there that don't like that, you can go jump in a lake. I don't give a rip. All the guys up on the stage. No, and there's no conspiracy theory out there that says that Hillary's actually a man. Although I know that there are conspiracy theorists out there that say Michelle is a man. And we wonder why we never really get anywhere. We're just so loaded down with all this BS. And I get people that say, well, you can't. Let me put this to rest for people on what I think about Michelle Obama. I don't really care if she's a tranny or not. I don't believe that she is. I believe she was born a she. Plain and simple. And it really doesn't matter. Why are people so focused on this? It is irrelevant. She's not out there. It's not as if she's not, her and her husband are not out there promoting trannies and tranny rights and tranny this and tranny. None of that. In fact, before he saw that, he needed their votes, Barack was firmly against certain kinds of gay rights. So this whole, Oh, maybe he's in denial. I don't know. I don't care. It's irrelevant because of what everything else that he's done to this country is far more important than whether or not Michelle is a Michael or not. So whether I believe she is a he does not matter because it's irrelevant. And this, it doesn't, well, the only thing it's going to prove is that, we were right about their mental state. Speaking of mental state, there's, where I just saw a story. Where is that story? Where is it? Yes. Here's a story. Probably, I'll bring it to you really quick here before the break. This is from Infowars.com. An EU, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, that's European Union. An EU diplomat says, and I quote, "My government believes Obama is quite mentally unwell." Former NSA analyst says senior European official asked him how U.S. president could be impeached because they believed him to be mentally unstable. Now, well, we already know that the guy is probably he's a liberal, and we all know that liberalism is a mental disorder. But John Schindler, a security expert and whistleblower who now writes for the Daily Beast, has claimed that a senior EU official from an undisclosed country also inquired about impeachment proceedings, saying that the nation of I didn't know the EU was now a nation, but the nation believes Obama is not fit for office. That they believe he is mentally unwell. Well, look, if that's true, that kind of shows that there are a lot of people out there, a lot of leaders out in the world leaders, who don't respect our president because evidently they're now starting to believe that this guy is a nut job. I don't think they said that about Reagan, by the way, just saying. I mean, sure, here people said that Reagan had Alzheimer's, but now we have European government officials claiming that our president is a nut.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get set again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
over the globe, as well as you wonderful ecclesiastites. It is I, your lovable host, returning for hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Rod is who I am. And I'm broadcasting live via my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is toll-free 603-835-3224. Use it if you use that number if you so feel the desire and need to. You know, this next story, and I know some of you are probably thinking, what does this have to do with politics? And I'm going to tell you the story first, and then I will explain to you. You know, one of the things, I don't know if I mentioned this, but while I was visiting my mother, her cable network, which is Time Warner, and my cable network is Comcast, and I'm seriously contemplating whether or not I should get a satellite service, DirecTV, or probably not Dish. Although, you know, DirecTV is kind of expensive too now, but she has a network in her package that I don't get. So, no, I'm not talking about HGTV. It's the El Rey network. And last Saturday, they had the Mexican trilogy on. You know, the one with Antonio Banderas. You know, Once Upon a Time in Mexico and Desperado and things like that. So I was watching that. And it was very entertaining. But it reminded me of how some people just sort of, you know, they take the law into their own hands, as it were. Because there seems to be no law that really works for them with what's going on. And, but anyway, it's a very, you know, they're entertaining movies. I like them. And I happen to like Antonio Banderas's, you know, his earlier work. He's not a bad actor, actually. He's all right. He's played a wide range of roles. And he doesn't seem to be one of those stars that has. Maybe I missed it, but I don't think I've ever heard about him having, you know, what I call the star fit of rage. You know, we have some of these stars that just think, you know, they're like Christian Bale. They just think they're so cool because I'm Christian Bale. And you know, like is it Colin Farrell? He's also another one that's known for having. But they're geniuses, Rod. They're such wonderful actors. No, not really. In any event, I haven't heard of this Antonio Banderas. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. You know who else seems like a genuinely nice guy, although we would definitely not get along for, you know, in our political views. Because he's when it comes to that kind of stuff, he is kind of an arrogant ass. But other than that, if you stay away from politics, he seems like a genuinely nice guy, and that's George Clooney. And unlike some stars, I don't avoid a movie just because Clooney's in it. Like, if Tom Cruise is in a movie, I'm automatically don't want to see it. And there are some concepts or movie concepts that Cruise has been in that the plot has interested me, but because he's in it, I have no interest in it. What was that movie where he kept dying and coming back to life and learning from the past? I can't remember the name of that, but that was a different concept. I haven't noticed that type of a plot before, so I thought that was different. But they had Tom Cruise starring in it, so I wasn't interested. But Clooney isn't one of those actors that I avoid. I don't think he's such a great actor, but he isn't one of those actors that I avoid. You know, Brad Pitt's another one. I don't avoid movies with Pitt in them because he's in them. I mean, I don't find Pitt to be a bad actor. I don't frankly, I don't see where women think he's a gorgeous hunk. Me, since I'm not a woman, I guess I would know about those things. But I don't mind. I don't see a movie. There's really one actor in particular I wouldn't say I follow him, but I think I have seen, except for one, I think I've seen every movie that Will Smith has made. I didn't see the Bagger Vance one. The only one I think I did not see of Will Smith's. Oh, well, the latest one with his son there, the After Earth, whatever it was. I haven't seen that one yet, but I heard it was so awful. I think it's on Netflix. I'll probably watch it. But anyway, I digress. I mean, are there any particular so-called stars that you avoid? If there are stars that you, why don't you do just? I guess we can. Do we create a new hashtag? Star avoidance, or no? Hashtag no stars. How's that? Hashtag no stars. Just do it. If there are stars out there, movie stars, celebrities, TV, movie, doesn't matter. Are there any that you avoid, and because they're in it, you won't watch it? And for me, that's Tom Cruise, hashtag no stars. I think, maybe it was Mission Impossible 2 was the last thing I watched, Tom. No, I think the last thing I watched with Tom, no, I think it was Mission Impossible, because Mission Impossible 2 came out after Vanilla Sky, and Vanilla Sky was awful. But yeah, Tom Cruise is one of those stars that I avoid. I refuse to watch him anywhere. I won't watch him here. I won't watch him there. I won't watch him anywhere. No, I think the last movie I saw was the Martian Invasion one. Actually, a bad remake of a classic movie. Mostly because he was in it. Really. After he did that thing on the Oprah Winfrey Show and he started really touting Scientology and some of the things that he said about the environment and politics, I'm just like, this guy is a total, you-know-what. Not supporting him anymore. And go back to doing things like risky business and keeping his mouth shut. He'd be better off. Anyway. So, yeah, tweet it or Facebook it if there are stars that you do not support, that you avoid. And just mention their name and put hashtag no stars. Here from Fox5NewYork.com, Fox5NY.com, they have a story about a man who got arrested. And I will tell you why this is a problem after I read you the story. Ronnie Hicks was arrested recently. He was arrested because he appeared highly intoxicated, and his speech was slurred, and he was acting confused. And he was arrested for DWI. And you're probably saying, well, what's wrong with that, Rod? Get him off the road. The problem is that the 54-year-old man is wheelchair bound, and he was in his electric wheelchair when he was arrested for DWI. Now, does one drive a wheelchair? Now, police say Hicks from Palm Bay, Florida, was allegedly blocking a pedestrian bridge path inside a park near Margaret and Helen Streets in Palm Bay. Now, police were called to the scene because there were complaints. During his first appearance before the judge approved the maximum $5,000 bond because it was Hicks's third DUI in 10 years. Now, keep in mind that this third arrest for DUI, which is the equivalent of DWI in other states, his third arrest for DUI is for riding in an electric wheelchair. He wasn't driving. Now, what's significant about that is because about a decade ago, there was a couple of incidences in the state of New Hampshire. In one of those incidences that encompasses DWI, a man was arrested for DWI while trying to ride his mountain bicycle home from the bar. By the way, his conviction was upheld. In another instance in this state about a decade or so ago, a man was stopped and arrested for DWI while on his skateboard. Now, the reasoning behind all this is because the law is saying, well, these are all vehicles because they have wheels. Now, understand, there isn't a single law, DWI or DUI law on the books that when they were writing the legislation for these laws, they thought, oh, we're going to catch people in wheelchairs and on bicycles and on skateboards and anything else with a wheel on it. You know, people have been arrested for DWI riding tractor lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers, even when there is no blade attached. Because people say, well, they can be dangerous with the motors and the blades running. Even people that they took off it's their vehicle now. For whatever reason, they've been arrested for driving a tractor, a lawn tractor. So this is not what the laws were intended when they were originally put forth. When they were originally passed, nobody was thinking that. You cannot tell me that somebody was thinking when they wrote the motor vehicle DWI drunk driving laws that, oh yeah, we're going to catch these people riding bicycles and lawn tractors and skateboards. No, that is not what the law was intended for. As a matter of fact, if you're riding a skateboard they can get and jump out in the traffic or something and cause an accident. You can cause an accident by jaywalking, for crying out loud. And that's with people who are sober. But that is not what the laws were intended for. But here is the issue with this. This is how laws get twisted to go places they were not intended to go, to entrap and ensnare more and more Americans. And it used to be just for stuff that was, non-criminal offenses. They were so they could get more tax dollars out of you, basically by calling them fines. But over the years, over the past decade or so, I have noticed a very unpleasant and unwanted transformation of these laws being stretched from just simple citations and such, and ticketable offenses, to criminal charges that even lands people in jail. Now, I'm sorry, but this man could go to jail for a third DUI offense. Not for driving a 3,000-pound vehicle, a gas-powered motor vehicle down the street, but by sitting on a pedestrian bridge being drunk in his wheelchair. Now, that's not what you do in a free society. You do not take laws that were intended for one purpose and then stretch them and make them pliable to fit just about any scenario that you want. That's not the way it's supposed to work. I know some people out there are probably thinking, well, he could have been danger, Rod. Okay. Well, now we have, what is it? Oh boy. Well, it probably goes along with the reason why we have, or the reason these laws are on the books is to instill fear. And it's not really fear. It's nothing more than corruption. It's nothing more than corruption. I got a story here about corruption and what the Americans think about corruption in just a second. But here's something else. This whole notion that Hillary, getting back to Hillary Clinton, how she was out there talking about, and her law, her proposed law or legislation that she would like to see is having gun manufacturers being sued when people use a gun for murder. When they legally purchase something, and you can sue the gun manufacturer. Well, that's going to go hog wild crazy, and it's really intended to do that. But here from the Washington Times is a precursor of the modern times and anti-gun movement. You got to pay attention to this close, folks. There is a shop in Wisconsin called Badger Guns. Now, Badger Guns was involved in a lawsuit. Now, Badger Guns, first round, lost a lawsuit and is ordered to pay $6 million to 2 Milwaukee cops that were shot with a firearm that Badger Guns sold. Legally sold. A jury has ordered a gun shop to pay nearly $6 million to 2 Milwaukee police officers who were seriously wounded when shot by a gun purchased at Badger Guns store. A jury has issued the ruling yesterday in a lawsuit against Badger Guns. The lawsuit alleges the store was negligent and should have spotted clear warning signs that the gun was being sold to a so-called straw buyer, or someone who was buying the gun for someone who couldn't really legally buy one. Now, Officer Brian Norberg, now retired Officer Graham Kunich, that's Kunisch, were both shot in the face by a man they stopped in 2009. Now, the issue gained national attention when presidential candidate Hillary Rodham Clinton said she would push to repeal George W. Bush-era gun law that Badger Guns attorney says protected the store. Evidently, it didn't protect the store. Evidently, it didn't protect the store because they lost their case. So we're talking $6 million here. Over something, in other words, they're being sued and they're losing their lawsuit because they were not clairvoyant enough to see where the gun was going to end up, and thus refused to sell the firearm. Yeah. Can you see where something like that would... Can you imagine, okay, you're an individual. Let's just say you go and you pawn your gun to a pawn shop. Because you don't want to deal with the hassle of trying to sell it, blah, blah, blah. So you pawn it off to a pawn shop. The pawn shop is then supposed to, follow, legal protocol and everything. But they sell your gun. You basically sell it to the pawn shop, but the pawn shop then sells your gun. That gun is used to commit a crime. And somebody's either injured or killed with that firearm. You have no knowledge of it whatsoever. But technically, what Hillary Clinton is saying is that it would be perfectly okay, perfectly legal, and perfectly advantageous, and they would encourage you to do so. You would be sued by the victims, surviving victims of that gun violence. Frankly, because You were the one that supplied the firearm. And you should have had the forethought and the foresight to know that maybe that this pawn shop wasn't going to do its proper due diligence when they resold the gun. That is what this lawsuit right now is opening up. Folks, don't doubt me. That is what Hillary Clinton's proposal is trying to do. Do not doubt me. So, and again, we have a government that is taking the responsibility off the individual who commits the acts that are not in the best interest of a civil society and placing that blame, that responsibility, on the individuals in that civil society who are not breaking any laws. The lawbreaker gets off the hook, basically, and the law abider who thought that they were abiding by all the laws and all the rules and all the regulations are now responsible for the actions of the lawbreaker. Why? Because the law abider didn't have the foresight and the third eye to be able to see into the future to figure out that, hey, if I do this or if I do that, then this person is going to get in trouble and it's going to be my fault. That's what they want when it comes to guns. Because by that notion, hell, every car accident out there, an auto manufacturer should be sued. Well, you made and sold the car. And by fiat, every car dealer should be sued. Well, you sold the car. You should have known that this person was someday going to drive drunk. Well, they already want to sue bars because somebody drives drunk. Or they want to sue the host of a party because somebody drives drunk. So they want to transfer the responsibility from the accused or the convicted to those who are innocent and not breaking the law, any code or any law whatsoever. And they want to make them into criminals, responsible for the activity of real criminals. And this is what they're doing when they try to stretch the laws to fit something and do something that it was not intended. And that cannot happen in a free society, because if that happens, nobody is really free, folks. And I'm telling you, don't doubt me ever.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people in America lives with a mental illness? Do you have the communication skills to help out if one is in a crisis? What if it's your best friend? Maybe your son or daughter? Well, crisis intervention isn't new. The book Crisis Intervention 101 is. It's easy to read, include links to 2 videos, and it's under $10. Get your copy of Crisis Intervention 101 today on Amazon.com, because we all need help in a crisis.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Is a number, so give us a call, give us a ring, give us a buzz, however you want to call it. What do they say? I'll ring you. Is that what they say in England? Telly. I'll ring you on the telly. They still say that for cell phones. I'll ring you on the cell. Do they call the cell? Do they call a cell a telly? Well, cellular telephone. Technically, are called right. They're handheld devices now. But that's kind of a stupid title, too, actually, when you think about it, because a lot of handheld devices. You know, and there are states that, it has to be hands-free. You can't utilize a handheld device. Now, what they mean, what the law is intended for, is, no texting and driving or things like that, no using your cell phone all day. But a handheld device can be anything that you have in your hand. And you get pulled over and the cops as well, you could I don't know. You could be holding your comb. And maybe you're not combing your hair, but you could be holding your comb, but that's a handheld device technically. And the cop could say, well, geez, I'm going to write you a ticket for, misuse of a handheld device while driving. And technically, although it's not what the law was intended for, you could be eating. I don't know. Can food be construed as a handheld device? Well, maybe if you were reaching for the bag, I don't know. I'm sure that's probably coming. Where... there'll be. You might as well start, instead of having nice, big, roomy cars, you might as well start having these cars that are compartmentalized, and you can't converse with anybody, and take the radios out, because this whole thing. Well, all these things are, cellular phones are distraction. Yeah, and so is half a dozen other things in the car. But. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that when people get in an accident, Central New York last week there was an accident. A young man, he's 28 years old, was high, and this whole. And again, I'm not one who's adamant of keeping marijuana, the hemp, illegal in this country. I think it's stupid. But here's the problem. This young man, 28 years old, was high. Evidently, he was allegedly high on marijuana. And he was texting. And he was speeding. And this whole notion, people who are high, they just sit around, when they're high on pot, man, they just sit around and they mellow out and they don't do anything. No, this was morning commute. He was already high. So in other words, he got up and probably took a few tokes of the weed, and that was his breakfast. Jumped into his car, probably thought he was going to be late for work, so he was speeding. And then he decided that he was going to text while he's speeding while high, not paying attention to what's going on in front of him. And a school bus stops, and he slams into the rear of the school bus. Knocks himself dead out. Not dead, but, cold. Cops arrive. Phone's in his lap. He's unconscious. They had to extract him. Do blood tests, blood work. Find out he's high on pot. Find out he was texting. Find out he was speeding. And they arrested him. It's seriously. Idiocy of some people. But you know what? Unfortunately, you'll have a rare few people like that. Because how many times is somebody going to run into the back of somebody else or run into the back of a school bus because they're high, late for work, and they've been speeding while texting? It's not going to happen. It's going to be a really rare instance. But we're going to have some lawmaker in the state of New York try to come up with some law that makes it even tougher for people to do certain things in their vehicle, and it's going to just ensnare even more innocent people who otherwise would not be considered to be lawbreakers. You do realize that you're not a lawbreaker until somebody passes a law that says you can't do what you probably used to do. Think about it. For example, before Prohibition, everybody who drank, they weren't criminals. They were law-abiding citizens. And then the government decided in its infinite wisdom that they were going to ban alcohol. Well, now, all of those millions of people who were legal law-abiding citizens the day before now all of a sudden become lawbreakers or criminals. See what I'm saying? See what happens when you start writing and passing law after law after law? I mean, it's to the point now where literally you probably break a half dozen laws from between the time that you wake up until before lunchtime. Every single day. And you probably don't even know that you do most of them. I mean, people get snared in these, especially when it's time for revenue generation or, for police officers when it comes time for, quotas. Hey, you're behind in your ticket writing quota, man. You better get out there and do something about that. So when you notice cops hanging around places that they're usually not hanging around all the time, they're just parked there, or they're just sort of slowly cruising the parking lot someplace, or if it's late at night and they're just, normally when you go to you go to 7-Eleven a lot, hardly ever see a cop. But at a certain time of the month, for about 2 or 3 days, you'll see cops there all the time because they got to meet their quota. And they're looking for you to do anything. And we're always told, hey, ignorance of the law is no excuse for you breaking it. Well, hey, if I knew that was a law, I wouldn't have broken it. But that's not the point. The point is they want you to break the law. The government wants you to be a criminal. Because they make money off of you when you're a criminal. It's just an additional tax. And let me tell you something. As they try to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter with gun laws, and there are people out there saying that, yeah, we need, law-abiding citizens that are trying to stay in touch with the liberals and say, well, maybe having more gun laws is not so bad. But let me tell you something. If they keep adding laws, making more and more law-abiding citizens criminals, then eventually they're going to start saying that some of these crimes are going to be elevated, which then takes you out of being able to legally have a firearm or to be able to legally do other things that you're currently enjoying. Don't doubt me, folks. I've seen it happening over the past 30 years or so. We have been going down this progressive pro-law trail. Not pro-public safety, pro-law. There is a difference. Arresting a man for being on his skateboard because he's drunk is not pro-safety. That's pro-law. And it's only designed for one thing, to turn that person who thought that they were being responsible by not getting behind the wheel of an automobile and driving drunk, now they're turned into a criminal. And now they got to pay lots and lots of money. Now, do you realize that in most states, you lose your license if you get a DWI, and you have to go through hoops, jump through hoops in order to get it back. You got to go through alcohol, counseling, whatever, and sometimes you got to go through certain driver's ed, and you got to pay extra in insurance. Now, how would you like to be the person who's riding a bicycle or riding a skateboard and you lose your driver's license? You're riding in a wheelchair. Oh, driving drunk in a wheelchair, you lose your driver's license for an automobile. Think about it. And tell me I'm wrong about this whole notion about pro-law versus pro-public safety. Telegraph.co.uk. France's top weatherman sparks a furious thunderstorm over his new book questioning climate change. Yeah, Europe, France even. Philip Verdier, Verdier, it's probably Verdier or Verdier, weather chief at France Télévision. The country's state broadcaster reportedly sent on a forced holiday for releasing his book accusing top climatologists of Europe of taking the world hostage. Every night, France's chief weatherman has told the nation how much wind, sun, or rain they can expect for the following day. How now, Philip Verdier, a household name for his nightly forecasts on France's Channel 2, has been taken off the air after a more controversial announcement criticizing the world's top climate change experts. Now, Mr. Verdier claims in the book Climate Investigation that leading climatologists and political leaders have taken the world hostage with misleading data. Now, notice how these wonderful, all-inclusive, all-accepting, wonderful leftists get so upset when you don't agree with them. They're so open-minded and so welcoming and so accepting until you disagree with them. And then when you disagree with them, oh man, they will do everything in their power to shut you up. Now, you know that's true. You've probably experienced it firsthand. In a promotional video, Mr. Verdier said, "Every night I address 5 million French people to talk to you about the wind, the clouds, and the sun. And yet there is something important, very important, that I haven't been able to tell you because it's neither the time nor the place to do so." He then added, "We are hostage to a planetary scandal over climate change, a war machine whose aim is to keep us in fear." Ba-dum-bum. I knew I was right. You knew I was, well, most of you who are listening knew I was right too. I told you this was not about climate change. And you can go back and listen to any episode that I talk about climate change, and you will know that I have always stood by the fact that this whole notion that man-made climate change is a farce. It's a fake. It's been faked. It's been fudged. The numbers are wrong. The numbers are purposefully been fudged. And it's all been for control. And how do you get control? By causing people to be or live in fear. And thus, if they are fearful of something, they will turn to, you as their savior. Which what? Gives you control. So if the world is afraid that their whole world is going to be destroyed by climate change that is caused by them, they are going to give you the what? The power to make the changes to keep everybody safe and the planet whole. And they will willingly give up their freedom so you keep them safe. Because you instilled fear. False fear, but fear none the same. Nonetheless, it's still fear. And this French weatherman just hit it out of the park, and he's being punished severely for it. Now, basically, I bet you this guy's just been fired. He's been summarily dismissed, and he will probably never work for any. He will not be a weatherman, on air anywhere in France ever again, unless he goes on TV or something or releases a statement that says, "I am sorry, I was wrong, I was misinformed, but now I have been taught all the true facts, and I was wrong. I am sorry, and I will be good boy now." His outspoken views led France Channel 2 to take him off the air starting this Monday. He said, "I received a letter telling me not to come into work." I'm in shock. Now, this is a direct extension of what I say in my book, namely that any contrary views must be eliminated. I don't know. Well, he's a brave guy. I don't know what he was thinking, how he was going to get. He must have known that it was probably going to end his career if he did that. And so if he knew that it was going to somehow end his career, well, how fervent of a belief must he have in what he said? Think about that. I mean, would as many, I'm going to ask this question. Of all of these so-called scientists who are doing these climate change studies and trying to prove, without any factual evidence, so trying to prove that mankind is the absolute unequivocal cause of global climate change, would they stand behind it if the winds changed and the vast majority of people and government agencies did not any longer believe in climate change? But if they got on the air, and if all of the all the TV channels and everything became ultra conservative, would those people still believe in what they are saying so much that they know for a fact if they say something contrary, that by saying that there is global warming, when everybody believes that there isn't any global warming, would they still say it? I guarantee you most of them would not, because it isn't about the facts, and they would not be able to back up their facts because their facts have been faked. Well, that's kind of an oxymoron, because if it's a fake fact, then it's not a fact. That's why we call it pseudoscience. In other words, fake science. Fake science is ruling the roost right now. You can say something is true when it's not. And you can probably get enough people to believe eventually, if you say it enough times, that it is true, even though it's not. That still doesn't make it true. You can say that gravity doesn't exist. That doesn't change the fact that what we know as gravity is still there. And you can say that the science is that, that's only 100 light years away. We can get there in a year. Doesn't change the fact that if we don't have an engine and a spacecraft to get us there, that we're not going to get there in a year. You can say anything you want and convince people. There could be a consensus of science. Yeah, science is not based on consensus. You can have a consensus that, there's going to be a volcano eruption in downtown L.A. sometime in the next year. And then it doesn't happen. But you had scientific consensus of most of the world's so-called legitimate scientists agree that there was going to be a volcano in downtown L.A. within the next 12 months. And in month 13, there's no volcano. So I guess science is not consensus. So in other words, consensus is not science and consensus is not fact. And oftentimes, consensus is not even based on fact. Because, hey, 600 or 700 years ago, the consensus was that the earth was flat. The scientific consensus of the day was the earth was flat. But it wasn't. So even if you have this so-called stupid scientific consensus that man is causing global climate change, it's not factual, and we're not. Don't even get me started on this consensus crap, let me tell you. Hey, New York Post. This was something rather interesting that came across my newsfeed. NYPD, New York's finest. Trust me, this is not anti-cop, but it's you could say it's anti-government if you want to, but it's just exposing the government, and that's a double entendre here if you understand what I'm about to tell you. NewYorkPost.com, NYPD has super secret X-ray vans. Yeah, they got Superman's X-ray vision. Police Commissioner Bill Bratton won't let the NYCLU or anyone else bully him for details. Bully him? For details on the NYPD's super secret X-ray van. What? Bully? So the public's right to know of what they're paying for and what they're. This is not for national security here. This is not the military. This is the New York PD. Police Department. So the commissioner says, well, I'm not going to let anybody bully me to get the details. The top cop was asked Tuesday about the counter-terror vehicles called Z backscatter vans in light of the NYCLU's request to file an amicus brief arguing that the NYPD should have to release records about the X-ray vans. Well, what can these vans do? They're not used to scan people for weapons, Bratton insisted. Well, that's probably exactly what they're doing. When they start insisting they're not using it for one particular reason, and then later it almost always comes out, well, yeah, that's exactly what they did. The devices we have, the vehicles, if you will, are all used lawfully, and if the ACLU and others don't think that's the case, we'll see them in court, where they'll lose. How are you using them then? What's legal about having a van running around that can take pictures through walls? I'm asking the question. I don't know the answer. I don't know what they're using it for down there. You know what? This new mayor, de Blasio, I got to tell you, I'm getting less. I thought Bloomberg was bad. Speaking of Bloomberg, quickly, I've got this story here. Bloomberg, where there is. There's a story where the stars of the Godfather movie, along with 80 other stars, are backing Bloomberg-esque or Bloomberg's gun ban. Really? Well, I can't really find it that fast, so I'll finish this particular before our time is up. Because they're not. He declined to give more specific details about the devices themselves. Those are issues I'd prefer not to divulge to the public at this time. I will not talk about anything at all about this. It falls into the range of security and counterterrorism activity that we engage in. So, the Z backscatter vehicles, also used by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, can scan for drugs and explosives through a vehicle, through a wall. It can see you. It's like the stupid X-ray machines or body scanners at the airport that the TSA use. They can see everything. And yet, we're bullying this police commissioner who's supposed to be serving and protecting the public, by the way. Well, while we're having, a bunch of movie actors out there, 80 of them, including some who starred in very violent movies like The Godfather, endorse Bloomberg's gun bans. Now, these people must think we stupid. Honestly.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.